What made you make it to your destination?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome.
Girl, she was going all over the room.
How far is the drive?
Okay, how was
Huh?
it's supposed to be 5.5.
It's longer, I assume.
Well, we stopped every hour. Chris, I guess
You
because
needed a break.
yeah, I was working. Alan, why you
Well,
laughing?
well, you still look fabulous. You don't look like what you've been through this morning.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
But yeah, we made it. We got here safely.
good, good. That's what's
Yeah.
important.
Alan, I did talk to Larry Lauer.
Oh, good.
So he wants me to send him over information about coaching and tax advisory. He told me up front, I'm not interested in your financial 360 because I already have everything set up, and I'm not starting that until January. But I do want to know about all the other stuff that you have. Like I need to know about tax breaks and things like that. So I said, okay, let me send this over to you so you can understand it. I'm still going to send him the information about the financial 360 because uh, he cut me off and said, well, I can tell you now, I'm not interested in that. But he has a lot of other stuff going on. So,
Well, that's where you learn about the tax breaks, and that's
yeah,
where we go over
yeah.
all of this stuff.
Because he said, I have a CPA that I've been dealing with all my other stuff for 25 years. So
Oh, nice.
he's good with that. He said that, but this part of it, the counseling,
Hmm.
he wants to know, somebody who's more familiar with that part. So I'm gonna still send him the
What's
information about that.
What's funny, it sounds like he actually does need the 360, honestly, because that's
That's
where
what
we
I
go
told
over
him.
that piece of it. But
Mm-hmm.
okay. Well, we got our
Yeah.
folks coming in now.
Okay.
Jonathan was good. How we living?
What's happening? Everything all good?
Good. Glad to hear it.
Yes,
Good
sir.
evening. How are you? Good afternoon.
Dr. Charles, how we
Hello.
doing?
Good. How are y'all?
Fantastic.
About to go join from my computer in a minute, but I wanted to log in.
No worries. Good. All right. Well, let's go ahead and kick things off. Being as how this is Thanksgiving week, I want to kind of go around the room briefly and just ask what are you thankful for? In life, in business, all the things around. So we'll start with you, Jonathan. What about you? What are you thankful for in life and business?
Sure, for sure. All right. In life, I was just thinking, because I remember I told y'all last week I was going camping or whatever. So I went camping this weekend with my kids and stuff, right? And like you see, yeah, excuse, I guess it's recording. I can't use. All right. Anyway, so
Hey,
you see.
you good. It's all internal, man.
All right, cool.
Whatever's good for you.
You see kids all the time. Not, sometimes there's some badass kids out there. So I was just watching my kids, like interact and play around and like not be on devices and stuff. So I was thinking just now, I'm like, man, I'm thankful that my kids can like sit and do things and be present in the
Yep.
moment instead of just
Yep.
stuck up. So I was real thankful for that. And then,
That's good.
family. But right now, I'm just thinking about the kids because I just thought that was a real amazing thing.
Hmm.
And in business, man, I'm just thankful that I'm even where I'm at. That stuff is rolling how it's rolling. So I appreciate every moment of it. So I'm looking forward to the growth. I'm looking forward to where it's going, but I always say the struggle is the best part. So I appreciate everything that's going on right now.
That's good. I always think of it this way. I was like, as everybody says, life is a journey. Whether it's ups or downs, it's not I guess every day can't be sunny, unfortunately. But when it's not, it makes you appreciate when it is. And so just even those ups and downs, it's always about learning. Y'all if you ever hear me say one of my favorite quotes is Nelson Mandela. I never lose. I either win or I learn. And that's kind of always the approach I take it. That plus knowing that life's just a journey, hey, how can I make this thing better? So doesn't mean, I'm complacent with with life or, growth or goals, but I can be content without being complacent, So it's like, hey, I'm good where I'm at. I'm thankful for where I'm at, but we still got more we want to accomplish and get at. So that's how I always approach it. So sounds like you're much the same way, which I love. That's awesome. Just kind of energy we need. Just kind of energy
Yes,
we
sir.
need. Dr. Charles, what are you thankful for in life and in business?
I am thankful for my health.
Amen.
um, Thankful for my health. I am thankful for in business. I mean, I think I'm thankful just to be here and that my clients are awesome right now. Like I think I have like 11 or something like that.
Mhm.
But my clients are awesome. My intern was great. She's on her way out now, and she passed her LMSW exam. So that made me feel good because I actually prepared her.
Mhm.
So that was great because uh, interns have been fun to say the least over the last few years. So to actually have one um, who I tried something new with and it paid off was great.
Nice. Okay. And then what about you, Ebony? What are you thankful for?
Okay, sorry guys. Getting it to the screen to work. Okay. Well, safe travels for one. Made it to my destination in one piece. Um, just family, health. Um, just thinking about, how everything seemed like it was yesterday that it happened. Like I was in college yesterday. It's been almost 30 years. And it's just like, I can't believe it time passed like that because I have a child that's in college now. And I'm like, me and Timmy, we still yet feel like we just came out of college. I just left school,
Yep.
and
Yep.
it just, time is valuable. Every moment that I share with family and just looking at things, how things could be worse than that they are, but they're people predict it to be hard right now. Not saying
Mhm.
that it won't get hard, but I thank um, God for allowing things to still be good, to say good, you know,
Absolutely.
and I'm thankful for this job. I get to meet a lot of interesting people, a lot of people who I've learned a few things from just listening. I went to school for mental health, psychology, aging, and then turned around and went to school to teach kids and look where I am. So, I think I have a broad spectrum of things and how they are playing out in my life. So it's just, I'm thankful.
Nice. Miss Tammy.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm definitely thankful for health and strength. Because this time last week I was in the bed, so the fact that I am have the strength to get up to come to work this week is amazing. Um, I am also thankful for so much of this job. I'm thankful for this job because the amazing people actually able to meet in opportunities. So last week we were able to attend a conference. It met so many people in so many different spaces from all walks of life and be able to talk to them and see what life is like for them in this climate that we're under. Um, Black, white, Hispanic, people from overseas to us to come together and be able to have great minds, think alike, and to see what resources in the mental health field is absolutely amazing.
Nice. Miss Anika, you there? Or she might be doing something.
Sorry, I can't work technology. I'm hiding in a storage
Oh,
closet. Not hiding. I'm in
what
a
are you
storage closet.
thankful for?
That this client won't be showing up in the next 3 minutes and I will be able to charge them for it and move on with life.
Hmm.
I'm thankful for all the parents I've had who have been in and out of surgery. Everybody's come through surgery well. The current one is on her way home today, so that is great. I'm thankful I can sleep in my own bed tonight. Yeah. So, yeah, everybody's well. Lost some loved ones recently, but dang it, and she showed up. Lost some loved ones recently, but still everybody's doing well. And yeah, so I hope y'all have a great meeting. I will have to look at it later because apparently this client showed up. So yeah, have fun. Bye.
We almost got that no show fee in. Almost got that no show fee in. 90 seconds away, but she pulled it out. Um, Dr. Reevy, hello. We saw you pop in. Tell us we're throwing you right in. Tell us what you're thankful for in life and business and all the things. That's what we're
Every
going over
day,
this week.
just for being here. Um, Nothing specific. I just feel like with the end of the year, it's November. Um, the end of the year is better than the beginning of the year, so I won't complain.
There you go. That's positive. And you got to give us a cruise update. How was your cruise last week?
I was ready to chime in. It
Right?
was great. I listen, I'm struggling to get back into somebody's mode, but it was really good. It was really good. And I got another one already. So
Let's
and
go.
I got another free one. So we're going to Greeks next year. So
Let's go. Now that's one place I wanted to go to and not been to is Greece yet. That is dope. And Granny enjoyed herself too.
she did. She had a ball. Had a ball, like meeting new people and just talking to everybody. And y'all know when I travel, I don't like to talk. I talk for a living, and so I be sitting, I be trying to mind my business. And here she go, telling everybody what I do. Grandma, be quiet, because none of these people want to talk, and I don't want to talk to
Exactly.
these people because. So that's the only downfall about, and it was her first cruise, first time out the country.
Oh,
And we did fast. So we did fast. So we did St. Kitts, St. Martin, Martinique, Barbados, and St. Lucia. So we did
let's
those
go.
five. But that was the only thing. It was a few times where I had to be like, Grandma, stop talking to these people.
Exactly. Y'all not about to get a free session out of me today
Like,
over
you
these good
know,
tropical drinks.
but yeah, it was good. And like I said, I already got when I was leaving, unfortunately, we talked about this. When I was leaving the last day, the casino manager came up to me and was like, "Hey, come and find me before you leave." And I was like, "Oh." And she let me scan and she was like, "We're gonna go ahead and give you another free cruise." I was like, "I'm sure you are." After
Nothing,
so
nothing wrong with that.
So, and then we're going again we're going again at the end of December. So we're doing Dominican, but so I got my money back. So I got another one next year.
Hey, that is phenomenal. I love hearing that. Well, good for you. I hope you got to rest and relax a little bit. No? How you not do that, Erica? Come
How
on
are you
now.
traveling with a 75-year-old woman who thinks she's 30? She was outside.
Touche.
She was
Touche.
my granny was outside.
Touche.
I just want y'all to know that. Like, wore me
Granny
out
was
some
living
days.
it up. Granny was living it up. I am here for all of it. That's dope. Dope. All right. Oh, and I guess I'll probably go too. Let's see. What I'm thankful for so much, man. I'm thankful for the lessons I've learned this year. It's been like I say, I don't think there's any such thing as a loss. But I've definitely learned a lot this year, and I'm excited for an opportunity to take those lessons and kind of revamp them and run it up next year. Because I've got y'all know me, y'all have been around. Y'all who have been around, I'm always full of ideas and different things. My team probably looks at me crazy for all the ideas that I come up with. But I love the opportunity to be able to help and to serve you guys, honestly. So so that's what I'm thankful for. I think this year has been a really good year in a lot of ways. It's definitely had its challenges too. Like just this year alone, we lost two staff members, which has been wild and crazy. But like I say, I just take it as a learning experience as part of the journey. Um, but I think ultimately we'll be better for it. And so I'm excited for the new stuff we're rolling out for you guys for 2026. I think it's going to be really really good. We got some new processes, some new updates to a few different things. So I'm super thankful for that. All in the light of trying to make your lives as easy as possible, give you as much what I like to say financial clarity as possible and save you as much taxes as possible. So that's what I'm excited about. And of course I'm thankful for our clients. Like Tiana, like as long as you've been with us and other clients who've been around for a long time. I know y'all have seen a lot of different iterations of Pro Prep CPA, but I am very confident in saying that the best one is upcoming this year. So yeah, but definitely thankful and even Jonathan, like you, just being a new person popping into the community, checking us out, seeing what we're about and yeah, so that's what I am certainly thankful for. Not to sound too cliche, but I am certainly thankful for all of our clients. Erica, of course, you've been with us a hot minute too. And then people like Brandon who are connector hubs who, got us connected at his event, Jonathan. So that's truly what I'm thankful for is all of our clients. So yeah, so without further ado, let's jump into today's lesson, where we are talking about additional revenue streams and how we need to work in and fold those appropriately into our practice. Or do we roll them into our practice is the question. So that's some of the stuff we're going to go over today. Um, With that, let's see how to create and manage new revenue streams in your practice. So, a strategic, financial, and legal and marketing roadmap, whether we are adding courses, whether that's coaching, whether that's consulting, whether that's digital products. We talked about doing things like retreats and intensives, like all of those different things. Like how do we structure that? How do we set that up appropriately and correctly into your practice? So first off, why explore additional income streams? Seems like a silly question, but as y'all know, the ultimate goal is to, or at least my ultimate goal for you is to not forever be, sitting in the chair, so to speak, and seeing clients one on one. We want to make sure we're scaling. We want to make sure that we are We might start, having that billable hour per session, but there are other ways as a business owner to make sure that you're capitalizing off of what you're doing in the long run. So of course, we want scalable and flexible revenue that does not require direct time. That is, that's the end goal. So to have passive or at least semi-passive, income potential. So with that being said, let me go around the room really quickly. And give me some passive or semi-passive, because not everything is fully passive, income streams that you guys either have currently or are working towards. Let's start with you, Dr. Charles. Miss Tiana, what you got? What's one of your revenue streams?
So one of my revenue streams is travel. And then another one is I
Wait,
have
travel,
the
explain.
I'm a
Explain.
travel agent
Okay.
as well. And
Mhm.
so
See, people
I
need to
have
know that in case they need to book a trip. They need to know. So go ahead.
yeah, so I'll do things like trips to beach like areas or places that are scenic. So um that, and then I also have the journal that I have out, and then I'm also a supervisor, and now I can add a consultation, a consult.
Hmm.
I do consultations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I can add that to the list now. Also, I'm doing speaking, so in presentations, and then next year I will have some sort of course. So I have a lot of different avenues of income, including a full
Perfect.
time job.
Perfect. Hey, there you go. Dr. Reevy, what are some of your revenue streams that are non-clinical?
Teaching,
Mm-hmm.
supervision, trainings. Um, I mean, owning the business. I feel like that for me personally is non billable because I mean I
Yeah.
got employees.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, I think those are the main ones that I would
The main
say.
ones.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Now, Eric, a question for you. I know you had mentioned this before. Where are you at on, you were even talking about putting together, I don't know if it's some kind of training for new clinicians, something you had kind of started. Where are you at with that?
So I've been doing it. I actually have been just running a trial with my current employees who all
Mm-hmm.
recently. So I had two who recently got their LCSW, and I kind of
Mm-hmm.
been giving it to them for free just so I can see, like, get
Yep.
feedback from them on the things that have went well, haven't went well. One of them, she literally is. We're at the point where I am allowing her to transition clients that we have here to her own
Mm-hmm.
billing system and helping her figure that out. And
Love that.
so what I decided was I wanted to do it with them and offer it to my
Mm-hmm.
employees for free so that I could know where some of the ways that I can improve. Like last week, which I was out, but last week something happened and I was like, that's kind of my fault because I should have did this thing and this thing, and then she wouldn't have had
Mm-hmm.
that happen. So with that being said, it is my hope that my mid next year I'll be able to take on at least 2 to 3 people who will pay for this. So basically coaching who will pay for
Nice.
it for me to walk them through beginning to end of that whole process. But I've been doing it with them. And for them is actually Asia had asked me about you. That was
Oh
to
yeah.
your point. One of the things that came up was the CPA process and
Mm-hmm.
finding the right CPA and knowing when you need a CPA and knowing the
Mm-hmm.
whole LLC versus S corp when you're setting up your structure. And so I realized that wasn't in my initial thing that
Mm,
I gave them. And so we kind of talked through that last week, which I didn't talk to you about that
nice.
because she trying to connect her with you. But so
Okay.
that's what that's looked like.
Oh, dope. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Just let me know. Sounds good though. Mr. Jonathan, what we got going? Or at least what are some ideas that you have for additional revenue streams?
Yeah, man. Let me see. Additional. Well, I teach at Lone Star, so that's a little extra, little money. Um, that's about it. I used to have a rental property, but I sold it. So,
Mm.
um, yeah, that's about it right now. So,
You have any others in the works that you're thinking about rolling out?
when you say, see, are you talking like consistent, like monthly?
Yeah. Or
That's
even
gonna bring some
non-consistent. Doesn't
in.
have to be 100% consistent,
So,
but other ways to make money. Just wanted to, pick your brain on, see if there's something else you're interested in.
some of the stuff we talked about last week in here, I kind of thought of and kind of came up with some game plan. Well, not really a game plan, but just let my ideas kind of flow.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in the beginning it's not an additional revenue stream, but I do think it could turn into that. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I
Mm-hmm.
don't, I don't
Okay.
have nothing off top right now.
Okay. No, all good. And that's really what it's about. Like, hey, if there's a need, if there's something there, something that you enjoy, then hey, let's kind of map it out, plan it out. So this is kind of kind of what that's about, and this will at least kind of give you the blueprint on, what we need to do, how we need to set it up, so on and so forth. But with this, so kind of the reality check piece of it is that, we don't want to add complexity without strategy, because then that can naturally lead to problems. So of course we don't want to spread ourselves too thin. We don't want any issues with the licensing board, tax side of things. How does that, play into it all, which we'll get into. And then of course marketing efforts. So if we're offering something new, whether it be, a course, a training, or different things in that manner, then obviously, we have to market that, which we'll go into as well. So foundation first, of course. So we want to make sure that your, natural foundation is strong, which, hey, everybody on here it is. Because you want to make sure your practice is strong, making money that is at a good, consistent place. Because adding in, whether it's a course or, another, a training, whether it's a journal, digital products, kind of all these auxiliary things, they won't fix a struggling practice. So, those are not um quick fixes for that. So that's, just the reality of it. And then also you want to make sure that you have the capacity to do it. But that's why we talk about these different things. How do we set up passive or semi-passive income? Because we want it to where ideally we're spending a little bit of time up front to build something, to structure it, to get it set. But then it's not something that requires direct time, in the long run. It's just, hey, you build it once and it's good to go, and it's going to make you money as it comes in for the most part. And then, of course, you want to make sure you have strong systems, naturally in your practice first. And then you can add on, other different revenue streams. So, clinical revenue streams versus non-clinical revenue streams. You guys probably know this pretty well already. But these are the kind of things that kind of go into, perfect example, if I am creating a course, or if I am creating a community, if I'm creating a coaching program, hey, how should I be structuring this? How should I be setting this up? Is this something that I put directly into my practice? Do I need a whole new LLC for it? Those kind of things. So here's kind of the generalized rules on that. Is that naturally, hey, if it's direct therapy services, if it's supervision, if it's CEU courses, because we have some clients who do that, who do CE courses um, for other clinicians, that's a good way to make money too. Those kind of things are your more direct clinical revenue streams. And so, the technical piece on our side when we're doing the bookkeeping is that, hey, that still all kind of goes into the practice. Oh, and of course, assessment, eval services, um, different things like that. So all of those are pretty straightforward. Of course, as y'all know, you need, professional liability coverage, all of that stuff. And then, as we talked about when we went over the intensives, there are definitely ethical restrictions on some of that from a marketing standpoint. Now, when we move over to non-clinical revenue streams, what this is of course coaching programs, digital courses, consulting, speaking, workshops. So, although you're using your expertise as a clinician, these are still kind of different revenue streams. So greater marketing freedom, of course, not as restrictive from what you guys have to do from an ethical standpoint. And of course, separation from the licensing board when you position it correctly. Now, once we get into that, then the next natural question that comes up is how do I set this up from a foundational kind of legal standpoint, so to speak? So here's kind of my three-step process in looking at that piece of it. Um, do we want to keep it inside your practice? So if it's something that's more experimental, if it's going to be low to moderate revenue, um, don't need a whole lot from an accounting standpoint, and if you need to, test the marketing demand before expanding it, then I think that's when we really kind of keep it within your practice itself. So meaning we don't have to get a separate LLC, we don't necessarily need a separate bank account for it just yet if it's not something that we know, hey, we're going into, full time, hey, this is going to be a one, two, three, five, $10,000 a month kind of thing that's pretty consistent. I think in the early stages, we want to, because we don't want to do too much too soon from that standpoint, if it's something that's still experimental. Um, oh, there we go, Tiana. To add financial coaching. Oh, that's good. Um, it is a good revenue stream there. And then, so on this, when do we need a separate LLC outside of your practice LLC? So when we have higher growing revenue, when we want to, of course, limit licensing board exposure, if you need to hire contractors or affiliates for it, if it's something you want to scale independently or brand separately, that's when I think we probably need a separate LLC. So to me, that would be, you know, if it's something where we think we could easily make a, couple grand a month, um, at least, or at least at some point in the near future, I think that's when we might need a separate LLC for it. Because if you think about it this way, a LLC is all about limiting your liability for different business ventures. So that's why if we think it's something that's, hey, I'm putting together a course, I'm not sure how it's going to go, for right now, let's just keep that course maybe in, within your practice. But if we've been talking about a course for a while, if we have some built up interest in it, and we think it's something that might, make us, a nice chunk of change, that's where we might want to separate out and have that separate LLC. That's when we need to get that separate bank account, so on and so forth. So I think that's when it's really, kind of important that we look at those things. Now, if we do keep it within your practice, as I hope y'all know, let us know because we want to make sure that we are listing that out separately within your numbers, where even if it's coming into your main bank account, within your bookkeeping, we can create a different account, a different revenue account, so we can at least be tracking that revenue that's coming in from this different entity. Um, and then third one, of course, consider your future vision. Do you think this might turn into a standalone business? Is this something that, could have a potential partner? And, do we think, it's going to be a decent amount of revenue? So those are kind of the three things that I look at when we're talking about additional revenue streams, to see if we can roll it into your practice, or if we need to have kind of a separate, LLC, or maybe a DBA or a separate entity for it. For certain things, we've kind of even gone in between where we have clients do what's called a DBA, doing business as, or officially a assumed name certificate, where it's not your practice name, but it's a separate name away from your practice, but it still rolls up into your practice. But that's kind of that in between these that can sometimes be helpful. Um, so perfect example, we had a client who started a podcast, And so podcast had a different name naturally from her practice. So we create a DBA that rolls up to her practice, for the podcast, but we just create a separate account in her bookkeeping so we can track, revenue, expenses, so on and so forth that comes in. But it wasn't to the point where we needed a full blown, separate LLC. I know there's a lot of technical pieces. Any questions on that? Does that kind of make sense? Everybody tracking on that? Okay, cool. So then, what we want to make sure, protect your boundaries, clear disclaimers, of course, non-clinical stuff. If we have those different those different offerings, naturally, y'all know best how to avoid ethical conflicts. And you want to make sure you have, contracts in place. Intellectual property protection. So trademarking your brand is huge. Um, I have an excellent IP attorney. She was really good because I trademarked the therapist CPA. So always consider trademarking. And just as a side note, for y'all to think about, because not everybody knows this, is when you create a LLC, that does not stop anybody from taking your LLC and promoting that name outwardly. Because if you think about it, a LLC gives you liability protection, but it doesn't necessarily give you what I would like to call like promotion protection. So somebody could still have your name and promote that name because it's your LLC, even though it's your LLC, because the LLC is more of an internal name. And LLCs are just for the state. They are not nationwide. So there could be the exact same name of your LLC in a different state, and that's completely legal. And they could take that and be a nationwide brand if you don't trademark it. So we could probably have a whole separate session on trademarking and what that looks like, because I've heard some horror stories on that. But just so y'all know, there's a very big difference between a LLC name being protected and a trademark protecting your brand and your intellectual property. Things to note as you grow. Anybody got anything? Everybody good? So as I mentioned, or let me ask y'all this. Let me go back. Has anybody ever gone through um the trademarking or looked into a trademarking process?
Uh,
I have.
well, oh, I had a lawyer do the whole thing for me, so I ain't really. It seemed like it was a lengthy process even with that, so I didn't do it
It is.
myself. But yeah, I
It
had
is long.
trademarked my practice.
Oh, sweet. See, that's smart.
Yeah.
Nice. Were you saying something, Erica?
Yeah, I did it myself. For therapists need therapy too. So that's actually
Hmm.
trademarked.
Oh,
And
nice.
I feel like it took a long time
It does take a
because
long
I
time.
messed up on some stuff and then they reached out to me and told me what I needed to fix and what I needed to upload.
Oh, nice.
And ironically I got a because it was years ago, I got a thing in the mail, I think yesterday when I came back, that said that my trademark, like I need to update it or do something with it within the next couple weeks. If not, I'll lose like my whole, because you got to do something like every few years. But I
Hmm.
did do it for therapists need therapy too.
Oh, nice. Okay. See, that's good to know. So, well, good. Y'all are the ones in the know on that, because a lot of people think, hey, I got the LLC, I'm good. Like, nope, because the LLC is just for your state. Um, so that's good. That's good. Man, what was that process like, Erica? You doing it yourself?
I literally, so there's a lady on Instagram that I have been following. She's
Mhm.
like a trademark lawyer, and she be giving you like free gems and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I bet I know who you're talking about.
I had started following her years ago, and I just
Yep.
literally took a lot of her like free stuff, and then I just went on the trademark website, printed off the instructions, and literally just walk through it step by step. And then like you had to upload like proof that you've been using it, brochures, all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, there was a couple little mistakes that I had made, and what happened was the trademark person, they reach out to you and they tell you like you have so many days to fix this and this, and
Mm-hmm.
then resubmit. I feel like I feel like it's easier than people think it is. I feel
Probably.
like it's not something you necessarily got to pay somebody to do. It's just time
Mm-hmm.
consuming.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
really time consuming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was my thinking of it. And then that's why I was curious to know because I had contemplated doing it. But I was like, yeah, no, I know how my life is set up. So, and I figured it was a little bit of it's gonna take some time to really get it down.
I also did it
But
during
that's
the
good though. That's good
pandemic.
to know.
So that's the other thing. I had nothing but time. I did it during the pandemic.
Hmm. Ah, see, smart then. I get that. I definitely get that. Okay, cool. No, that's good. That's good info. Yeah, I think I know the lady who you're talking about because I actually looked at her in doing it. Her prices were wild. I think it's like Rosanda something or another. Black woman,
Yeah,
Erica.
it's probably the same one. She's like all over there. She does nothing but
Yeah.
trademark. Like her
Yep.
prices
Yep.
was
That's
like
her.
$4,000 or $5,000, and that was a few years,
Yes.
like a few
Yep.
years ago. And I was like, I'm not paying nobody that. For
Yep.
$4,000, I'm gonna figure this out.
Exactly. Yep. 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 No, you're right. I actually went to I went to a conference, yeah, actually a couple years ago, and she was there, and so I got to talk with her a little bit, and that was yeah, that was a little bit before. That's right when I was looking into it, and so yeah, I looked up hers, and I was like, yeah, no, yeah, I think you're right. My what I saw was around there. I was like, yeah, nope, I did find somebody else who did it. I got a referral from a client actually, who had an IP attorney, and hers like half of that, I think, but but yeah, so okay, cool. Good info. All right, so let's see here. Okay, so financial structure for new revenue. Here's what I like to do is just still making sure that we do. Oh, sorry, hold on. Letting somebody in. Letting Tiana back in. There we go. Um,
Hey,
so
I got a
financial
question right
structure
quick.
really. Oh yeah, go for it. What you
I
got?
got a question right quick. It's off
Huh?
subject, but what you make your PowerPoint in? Is Canva?
No, this is I use Gamma
Gamma?
dot app. Mm-hmm.
I ain't heard of them. All right, cool.
I love it. It's
Thank you.
basically a I think I mentioned it before. It's been a little while since I gave this gem out, but I love it. It's kind of like a think of it like PowerPoint mixed in with a Chat GPT AI prompt kind of thing. And you can present it directly in there. I actually really like PowerPoint from a presenting standpoint. So I normally download it to PowerPoint and present, but as of late, it hasn't been coming out as smooth, so I've just been presenting directly in there. But that's what I use.
All right,
But yeah, look
thank
at
you.
look at Gamma app. It's dope. Um, no, all good. Yeah, anytime you got something, just let me know. Here to give you all the game I got. So financial structure, I see it no different, honestly, as your regular practice income, where especially for those who are doing profit first, like I say, treat it like a small practice within your practice of, hey, this is going to be our operating expenses. This is how much we're going to set aside for taxes. This is going to be, the marketing budget because that definitely needs to be set for most, different revenue streams, especially if we're talking about something like, courses or digital products. Obviously, you're going to have to definitely market those kind of things. Even something as simple as if you're doing consulting or, financial coaching, like, Tiana was talking about, different things like that. I see it no different. Hey, have all your income come in to one account, set up y'all know me, I want a separate, at least two bank accounts for almost every entity where you at least have your operating account and then you have your tax account. Um, I do have we do have a couple different things now. I have a whole layout in the community of kind of the four bank account setup process, where we have your main one, we have taxes, we have profit, kind of like your profit set aside, and then we have savings. So bare minimum, I want two. Ideally, I'd like four. If you're doing full on profit first, at least five. Um, so, five bank accounts. But I see it no different from this separate revenue, having those bank accounts set up, especially as we talked about, if it warrants a different entity, if it's going to be a separate LLC, then you have to have a different bank account for a separate LLC anyways. So might as well go ahead and set up the other accounts for it so that we are squared away from a, bookkeeping, tax, planning kind of standpoint where, hey, we got the money coming in, but we're setting money aside for all the different things that that this business is going to need, whether it's marketing, setting aside taxes, so on and so forth. And then, of course, marketing, your new revenue stream. Once again, if this is more like a course, if it's coaching, consulting, digital products, those kind of things are the ones where you're going to need marketing. And, launching is a process, not an announcement. Don't think, hey, I can put a couple posts on Instagram and that's all I have to do. Nope, nope, nope. We got to lay this out a heck of a lot better than that. To, put it out there in the ether, as they say. So first things first is make sure that you have solid demand. Um, you know, please don't spend time making a course that nobody needs or wants. So hopefully you've done the leg work on that to make sure that it's something that, has some demand and that, people will need and want. Then we have to make sure that we have a very clear position on who is it for, what problem does it solve. Um, here's the the $1 million question is when you are promoting something, people tend to overly explain what the thing is doing and under explain what problem it solves. The problem is the only thing people ever care about is what problem it solves. So I see that even on this I coach about even on like y'all's websites, which we've had a few different sessions on before. It's like, hey, all of what you do is great and it's needed, but hey, let's first talk about, or like all the all your degrees, all the accolades, all that's great, but let's first talk about what problems you serve, because that's the first thing that's going to trigger in somebody's mind as they're hitting your website or they're looking at your product. What problem does this solve that I am currently having? So that's what I think you should always be leading with, especially in the in a new product, in a new revenue stream, in a new offer, is what problem does it solve? Speak to that first, and then back it up with all the info behind that. And then, of course, build your email list. We talk about newsletters all the time because we think that's the best way to promote an offer is via email. Social media is great. From you have to be visible, you have to be out there. But the way I think about social media as more of a extension of your website, so to speak. So if somebody happens to hear about you and come across you, they're probably going to go to your website. And this day and age, they're probably going to look up your social media, see if you have an online presence. That's not necessarily the number one place for if you are launching an offer or a product. Launching an offer or product, yes, of course, you're going to mention it. We're going to have some posts on socials. We're going to do all of that. And actually, I have a full process to this that I like when you're launching a product of actually going on social media and doing a live for 3 to 5 days before you launch. I think that's the best way to do it on social media. But ideally, you want to have an email list for your offer and create a relevant lead magnet. And you have to prepare this ahead of time. Um, as we see, have execute a structured launch. Uh, what's wrong with going live, Tiana? You're a woman of the people. Come on.
In person.
In person, not live.
Mm-mm.
Not live. But that, yeah. One of my mentors, told me this, especially as it comes to launching and doing stuff like this. Um, Posting on social media, gets you followers. Going live on social media creates fans. And fans are the ones who buy your stuff, not necessarily followers. So posting creates followers, going live creates fans. So, just saying. Just
So
saying. Hmm.
speaking of social media, I have a comment that is
Hmm.
going viral. What's a
Hmm.
good way that we could get followers for comments? Because
Ooh,
like
that's a good question.
this is crazy, y'all. Every time I open this app, there's
Hmm.
hundreds of people who like this one comment
Hmm.
on someone else's post
Interesting. Is this on Instagram?
on TikTok.
On TikTok? Interesting. I want to see this. You got to send this to me. Um, ooh, that's a good question. Maybe can maybe can you reply to that same thread and have you gotten more followers out of it? Can you reply to the same
A
thread and
couple, but not really. I think I should have said something in the initial, but I don't be knowing when my shenanigans is gonna go viral.
That's how it happens. That is exactly how it happens. Interesting. I would say I don't know. I would think on that one, maybe replying to that same thread and dropping your own profile maybe. I don't know. Is that too self-promoting? But yes, I would say it's tough otherwise to gather people from liking a comment. It's about the only thing I've got.
It's crazy.
That's dope though. That's good. Must mean
Yeah.
you're funny. Oh, that's funny. That's good. But yes, so executing a structured launch, similar to what we were talking about last week, the three-step framework of hint, whisper, shout. So your pre-launch is your hint. Right before your launch is your whisper, and then once you've launched it, that's your official shout. So hint, whisper, shout, because you want to hint it to get some intrigue. Whisper just to give people enough information to when they're intrigued, they're like, okay, well, okay, tell me more. They're kind of wanting to know more. And then of course, once it's launching, then you shout, register here, now this is live, collect your bonuses, so on and so forth. So, but of course, with any launch, we're structuring this out for a few different weeks. Not just once again creating a post and then we're just rolling. Or just making one or two posts. And then of course, best thing you got to do is you got to track. You got to track and optimize because we want to know what works, what does not work. What did we say in a post that went really well? What did we say in our offer that went well? You got to track these kind of things. What's our opt-in rates? What's our conversion rates? What's our cost per acquisition? What's our profit margins? These are all things that we need to make sure we're tracking when we have an offer so that when we make the next offer, it's even better, naturally. And then, of course, marketing channels that convert, like I say, number one, email marketing. Um, it's going to be your highest converting channel. That's why we always say have an email list, build the list. The money is in the email list. Um, so that's always going to be your best bet there. Social media is still part of it. Don't get me wrong; it's still an important part of it, but it's not. Or like I say, it's not as crucial as the email marketing. And then the thing with socials is that you are always at the whim of the algorithm. So you could post something. That doesn't mean everybody who's following you is even going to see that post. So that's why it can't necessarily be as high. What I do love is strategic collaborations. And so, whether that's, hey, leveraging podcasts. Heck, I just talked. I'm about to be on well, it's gonna be next year. Um, just talked with Kate Walker, and so I'm gonna be a guest on her podcast in a few months. Hey, reaching out to people, doing different things like that. You know, co-hosting webinars, being on podcasts, reaching out to people in your space who has an audience that would benefit from what you're doing, and vice versa. And then I think definitely the last one is paid advertising. But you only use paid advertising after you have a structure that you know works well. Um, because I've seen so much money wasted in paid advertising. Um, just, from clients who are doing it. Because if it's not something, think of it this way. If you have a social media post that just does okay or less than great, then it's going to be a okay or less than great paid ad, but you're paying money to do okay or less than great. So it has to be a proven formula before you go to paid ads, to do something like that. So just always keep that in mind. Um, and then mistakes to avoid, building before validating. Once again, you want to make sure we have a market. Don't want to mix, clinical, non-clinical branding. Don't underprice yourself. That's a huge piece too. Let's make sure that this is a paid for thing. I know this is something we talked about, Tiana, and what in well, like the course or training you were talking about building. Because you said you had a lady who, you had bought something similar from, and you're kind of building a version of a what is it, like a course or a training?
Um, I wouldn't say it's a training.
Okay.
I think the best way to put it is a series of workshops.
That's right. Okay. Yep. A workshop series. Okay. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Because yeah, we were talking about, pricing for that. So let's make sure we don't price too low. Obviously, one of the best things is we don't want to launch without an email list because email lists are huge. Um, and then ignoring financial allocation. Hey, what money needs to go where? And a new revenue stream, of course, can be certainly profitable. But like anything, you got to plan it out and lay it out for it to thrive. So with that, what questions do we have before we wrap up? Any questions, comments, insight, concerns? What y'all got? Everybody good?
Questions. I need a
Fantastic.
Yeah, I
um
gotta sit on it for a while. Oh, excuse me.
yeah.
I gotta sit on it and think a little bit. I think over the week, so and then I'll
Nice.
questions.
One of the things I'm gonna do for y'all too is come up with every session I'm gonna have kind of like a 1 page, 2 page kind of like a recap of notes for y'all that I'm gonna put in the community. So I started one for this week. So, when you see the post in the community, I think we're gonna probably email it out, have a link to it to email out too. But that way it kind of gives you a kind of visual to recap of, what we talked about, what we went over. Just to have as kind of like another, helpful resource to kind of as you say, when it's things like this where you need to kind of sit, kind of marinate on, it'll kind of give you a quick rundown of it too. So I already built that for this one, so it'll be when we post it. Um, well, cool. As always, appreciate you guys. I hope y'all have a very safe, fun, and happy Thanksgiving. And remember, the sooner you get to your dream practice, the longer you get to enjoy it. And we're here to help you every step of the way. Y'all have a blessed Monday. Have a blessed Thanksgiving.
Bye, guys.
Bye, y'all.